Good morning, everyone. I was working on a completely different topic and researching on it for last 2-3 days. But then something happened on 10th July, which frustrated me a lot. So just thought that I should put across my point of view with regards to this. Now, the issue I'm talking about is this constable called Sunita Yadav, who stopped someone who was going on the road in his car when there was a curfew because of COVID-19, and the person going in the car was not even wearing his mask. Now, and she stopped them and started questioning them as to why they were going or traveling when there is a curfew in place. This is in Surat, Gujarat, that it happened. They called one of the friends just to pull a few strings, and the friend happens to be Prakash Kanani, who is supposed to be the health minister's son, health minister for state of Gujarat, his son. They called him. The first thing that guy comes in and says to the constable is, do you know who I am and you know what my powers are, and I'll make sure that you stand in this particular location for 365 days of the entire year just because you stopped my friend. Then what she also notices is the person who's come, that is Prakash, who's come to discuss all this, has come in an MLA vehicle. So immediately she asks him a question as to how can you use a MLA vehicle? I understand that your father is a minister, but that doesn't give you the rights to use his vehicle. Only he can use his vehicle and nobody else. So that starts an altercation. Then she calls the inspector that she reports to, and the only thing the inspector says is to walk away from the situation. But she doesn't. Then Prakash calls his father. Father talks to her and says that it's my son, so he can use my vehicle. She says, no, sir, you are the MLA, so only you can use the vehicle and your son can't. And what I've done here is I've caught someone who's not wearing a mask and is traveling during a time where a curfew is declared. So both the things are against the law. So I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm going to take action. Now, both the health minister's son was arrested, the person who called him for help was arrested, and then later they got bail and they were sent home the very next day. All right, that issue is done. Now the health minister has come up with the answer that his son's father-in-law was suffering from COVID-19, and that is why his son was traveling in the vehicle and he was not at all going there to support someone else. Now that is one issue. What happened to Sunita Yadav after that? Now Sunita Yadav was first asked to leave the location. She did not. Then she was asked to go on a leave for a certain period of time. Then they told her that she would be transferred. Now she's got frustrated and she's resigned. Okay, so the reward in our country for honesty is resignation or transfer. And don't you think that I support a particular party and that's why just because it's a BJP ruled state and it's a BJP minister that I'm talking about it. This has happened quite a lot of tough times. One or two examples that I can very clearly think of is in our own state, Karnataka, one of the ex-chief minister's son picked up a fight at a hotel. This hotel used to serve food till the wee hours of the day, but then this guy comes to the hotel at around 3 o'clock in the night, asks them to serve food, and they say that the hotel's closed. So what he does is break a few window panes, pick up a fight, and then leave from the place. What was the outcome of the fight? Well, no actions taken against the chief minister's son, but what they did was take off the permission from the hotel to serve till late night, and they had to shut down by 11:30. Well, a prime ministerial candidate has a case against him, or rather not a case. He was detained in US for illegal possession of cash and cocaine. Now that's, it's illegal cash and illegal drug. They've not confirmed what the drug was. But then there's still a fight going on where the Congress keeps rejecting it. And if you look into the details, it looks like the BJP Prime Minister, then Vajpayee, helped him out of it. But then that's not what I'm here to talk about. Well, every politician and their sons will have cases. A lot of things would be done, but no actions are taken. And let's look at why this happens. Well, India is used to being ruled by kings for a long time. So the monarchy system is still going on, wherein if somebody becomes a prime minister, he is considered, somebody becomes a minister, he is considered a divan, and their kids and them can go ahead and do anything, and no actions are taken. So, is it the politicians to be blamed completely? First thing we need to understand is they are not leaders. As per the constitution, they are our representatives. So we vote them and go ahead and send them to the parliament or the legislative assembly, wherever we send them, is to represent us and go ahead and address our issues. So what happened to Sunita Yadav? Is it completely the politician's fault or his son's fault? No, it's us as well as citizens who are giving them enough power to go ahead and play around with our legal system, one, and the support that we give them. Unconditional support. Now, I support a particular party, whatever the leader does, we just go ahead and just go ahead and say Jai to whatever they are doing. Now, is that right? Now, first and foremost, what we need to understand is that they are our representatives and they are there to do our job as we have gone ahead and selected them to go and do it. So they are doing a job for 5 years, right? So when they're doing a job for 5 years, if they get elected the second time, is it because of their power or is it because they did their work is a totally different discussion altogether again. But having said that, but that is the main reason why we go ahead and select somebody to go ahead and represent them. So what we can do to stop this, one is to start to make them realize that they are not kings. Okay, first and foremost, we as citizens, we need to understand they are not kings or they are not leaders. They are just representatives. So if we start treating them as representatives, that is when they will start feeling that they are representatives. What's happening right now is we also as citizens are treating them as kings. So that is something we'll have to stop. And please go ahead and share this video as much as you can. Subscribe to my channel and like the video. And the reason why I'm asking you to go ahead and share this is, please understand, reward for honesty, a reward for someone following her duty and not bending down to power or pressure is not a transfer or a resignation. Well, there should be no reward ideally because you're paid to do your job and she was doing her job right. So only thing is a transfer was not required, or she should have been not pressurized so much that she had to resign. So please make sure that this issue comes into light and legal actions are taken against the minister's son and even the minister for that matter. Maybe a little fine or whatever it is, but even the minister for allowing his son to go ahead and use his vehicle, and it's very clear that he was not going to visit his father-in-law because of coronavirus, but he came into the location after the person who was caught gave him a call. So if somebody was visiting his father-in-law who is serious because of coronavirus, he would not come to this location, rather he would go to the hospital, right? So there are so many things which we can look into, but first and foremost, let's start treating them as our employees and representatives and not leaders or heroes, and help Sunita Yadav to get her job back and let her be praised for what she's done, and let this also not become an issue which fades down with time and no actions are taken and everybody forgets about her. Thank you.